Well, Eric, always good to hang out with you on the Biz Coach Show. How are you doing today?
Doing well, David, and yourself?
I'm doing really good, man. As always. Yeah, good talking business and coaching with you. We've got a great topic for today. Something that I know you deal with a lot, which is people are interested in starting coaching, but like a lot of people, right? You don't have the resources. You might struggle with time, name recognition, a number of other things. And so today we're talking about 5 ways that you can start your coaching business from scratch. And let's go ahead and kick this thing off, Eric. What's the first tip that you have for a coach that's interested in starting their coaching business without a lot of time, resources, etc.?
Yeah, it's a good thing you let me prep for this show, David.
Jump right into it, man.
Let me first preface this with the 5 things I'm going to share today are 5 things you need to do. It's probably not an exhaustive list. There are some other things you would need to do as well, but
there's probably like 200, but this is like 5 essentials, right?
maybe 2,000, but I'll give you the 5 most important ones.
There you go.
There we go. All right. So first of all, you need to define your niche. You need to determine, we've had this conversation many times on the show about the different types of coaches, let alone the different types of business coaches. So, obviously types of coaches, you have life coaches, you have relationship coaches. We're specifically talking about business coaches. But even within the subset of business coaches, you have further subsets, I guess. Within the category of business coach, you have further subsets. So you have like leadership coaching, you have business strategy, which is probably more of what I do. You also have interpersonal management coaching. I mean, there's a lot of different things. Performance coaching kind of falls under business coaching. So there's other categories you could look at. So I would encourage you, if you're looking at doing this, to really kind of dig in. Look for the different types of, first of all, consider your skill sets. Where are you really deep in your knowledge and understanding? And where are you passionate? Those are probably the 2 most important things as far as determining that niche. And that will play out significantly as it'll help you determine where you do your marketing. It'll determine who your primary audience is, whether it's a smaller company or a bigger company. So you really need to make sure that you identify this clearly. And don't make the mistake that I did when I started my business, which was try and serve everybody.
So I was going to ask you about that, Eric. I think that's something that I hear a lot. I'm sure you do too, is, well, I don't want to go so narrow. I might miss out on people or I might lose people. What do you say when people bring up that concern to you?
Yeah, you're just creating more problems for yourself. Yeah, no, I'm not. Ironically, I'm the person. I'm trying to solve all problems. That's just how I'm wired, and that actually creates more problems because it when you're trying to identify who your ideal audience is, particularly from a marketing perspective, you struggle with where do I market, right? And so where I market for the small business owner is completely different than where I'm going to market for the mid-sized business owners.
Right.
Who my target audience is in a mid-sized business is different than who my target audience is for a small business. So for instance, David, you probably work a little bit more with mid-sized businesses. Your target audiences are the HR directors or the sales managers or the, it's like whatever, if you're doing sales training with somebody, if you're doing leadership training, it might be, a director or somebody like that. It's not necessarily the business owner.
Right.
Whereas if you're working with smaller companies, it's almost always the business owner.
Right.
Maybe there's one other key person that kind of works with that business other. So the point being is that until you identify specifically your ideal niche, now you can incorporate a different other subsets within the business coaching, and you can incorporate professional coaching, and you can incorporate performance coaching or whatever, and add that to your repertoire. But you want to start with one specifically. And so when for instance, when you're out networking, you can share with people, this is what I help people do. The biggest reason is that without that clear identifier of what you do, what you bring to the table, people will struggle with understanding how to refer you to other people or whether or not what you do works for them.
Well, you said something, Eric, that I don't think we've talked about on previous episodes, and I think it's a really good point, is even though you start in that particular niche, right? That doesn't mean you can't grow over time and add on services and gain different experience and expertise. So I think that's a really good point, right? You're not stuck there forever, but at least start with what you know really, really well.
Yeah, absolutely. Start with what you're most comfortable with, what it comes naturally to you, and then you can expand beyond that. And I think that the biggest opportunity there, David, quite honestly, is when you try and spread yourself too thin, it makes it really difficult. Not necessarily for the people in the room, because you may have, especially if you're doing face-to-face interaction or Zoom, face-to-face, you can explain in more detail. But when you're just giving an overarching statement, and I'm thinking literally a networking, whether you're networking online or you're networking in person, you get that 10-second elevator pitch or that 30-second commercial you get to do. You can't possibly elaborate on everything you do. And if you try to, you will lose everybody.
Yeah, right.
So just be very clear about what you do, what you offer, and the result you can provide. And that will help people quickly identify this is somebody that I need, or somebody that would work for me, or somebody that might work for somebody I know.
Yeah. Well said. Well, awesome. Okay. So we got the first of 5. What would be the second thing that you would focus on?
Establishing a brand. And there's a lot that goes into the brand. A brand, there's a lot. And David, you could probably elaborate here as well. Brand identity is important because it reflects your expertise, your values, your unique approach. Who you are needs to come out in your branding. So that comes, it's as simple as things like color scheme.
Yeah.
What color scheme resonates with you, the icon or logo that you use, right? That's representative of your brand, right? There's having a memorable name. Your brand should be consistent. The logo needs to be consistent with everything that you do, right? So if you had a logo that doesn't doesn't match with performance coaching,
right,
probably going to land flat with people, right?
Yeah.
If you had a logo that your performance coaching and your logo is kind of like an arrow that goes down to the right,
yeah,
probably not.
not.
By the way, if you didn't get that joke, okay, don't do performance coaching.
Yeah, stay in your other lane. Yeah,
you do something else.
Yeah,
but you'd want, obviously the arrow would be up and to the right, right? So, but yeah, simple things like that. I know it sounds pretty basic, but it does go relatively deep. It's probably worth it in the beginning. It's worth it to spend some time getting feedback from other people. I wouldn't, again, we're starting from scratch. We didn't specify it, but if you're on a budget, don't go spend $1,500 on having somebody build a brand for you. That's probably more than you need to spend right now. Spend a few $100, maybe even $100. You go to Fiverr, go to Upwork, spend maybe $100 or $200 and get somebody to put together a logo package for you that expresses you and who you are. Yeah. When you're bringing in $20,000 a month, you can go spend $1,500 and get a really good brand branding package put together for yourself. But don't do that in the beginning, right? Yeah. Get enough so you can put some business cards together, so you can put your website together. That's another thing, website as it relates to brand. Another thing that I would mention as it relates to brand is make sure that your website, your social media, all your social media platforms are all consistent from a color scheme, as well as a logo, as well as messaging, right? And just the messaging that goes with your brand. So whatever your catchphrase is. So when I first started coaching, mine was, give me 45 minutes and I'll show you how to uncover $100,000 or more in additional revenue without spending money on marketing or advertising. And I had that on my website. I had that on my social media platforms. It's actually still on some of them. But my point is that's part of that brand, right? That becomes who you are. Yeah. One last thing I'll mention on brand is recently went to a workshop that had a panel of people who were really successful in the real estate space and building their brand. And the woman that spoke, matter of fact, I think if I haven't done a post, I got a post coming up that'll go out about that. But the woman that spoke, she when she was building her personal brand, she's a mortgage person. She wants to separate herself from all the other mortgage people, right? That's the beauty of a brand, is it separates you from everybody else who does what you do.
Right.
And she started wearing pink outfits. Her color scheme, she chose she chose pink and yellow as her color scheme.
Very bright.
And Yeah, and she wears hot pink. I think it's a hot pink. I don't know colors well enough, but it's a pink outfit, and she has a number of pink outfits that she wears. So whenever she goes to networking events or anytime that she's out at some kind of event, she wears this very specific, different types of pink outfit. This very specific pink color everywhere she goes. She's even had custom clothes made with the pink outfit, because that's part of her brand. And so as soon as people see that pink color, they immediately recognize who she is.
Yeah. No, I think it's really, really smart, Eric, because a lot of people just think logo, website, print a couple business cards, I'm ready to go. Right. And it's a lot more than that. But I think one of the things you touched on is, yes, there may be some investment, don't go crazy, but it's almost more putting time and thought into it that's critical than pouring a bunch of money in, right? It's kind of thinking long-term, thinking about what value do you want to convey, right? Those sorts of things. And a lot of people rush that. So it's kind of slow down and really think through the longevity of your brand, right? All those sorts of things, and then kind of work on the more tangible elements. So I think that's a really good idea.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Okay. What's number 3?
So number 3 is to build your network. And I can tell you that's probably one of the more impactful pieces that I did well in the beginning as I built my business. And I will say that by far it paid the biggest dividends and as far as building my business, right? One, it was in the beginning, it was like I met everybody. And I will tell you that's probably what you're going to need to do. Everybody you meet will not be a client. Everybody that you meet will not even be a potential client. They should be. But for a number of different reasons, they likely won't be. And even if they might be, if it would make sense for them to be a client, they may not be an ideal client for you.
Right.
So, because of personality styles and things like that. So you want to factor all these different things in. But building your network, it's just a matter of meeting a lot of people. And when you're doing that, being clear with who you are, what you do in your niche, and then having a consistent brand helps people remember you. So that's why those first 2 come before going out and building a network. When you're clear on who you are and what you do, and you have your very specific brand with your messaging, when you meet people, you're able to share that information and convey those thoughts and concepts with everybody. And everybody that you meet isn't necessarily a potential client, but they are absolutely a potential referral partner. Right. Especially so as a coach, most of your it's predominantly all B2B, right? So everybody you're engaging with are going to be business owners. I say everybody, they're going to be in the B2B space, right? So you're going to be business owners or people serving businesses. And in that space, there's a lot of people, there's a lot of carryover, right? You're going to meet accounting people, you're going to meet tax people, you're going to meet legal people, you're going to meet payroll companies, you're going to meet merchant services companies. All of these are very strong referral partners. One of my best referral partners was a woman who owns a Schoolie Mitchell franchise. And Schoolie Mitchell, what they do is they help uncover cost savings for companies. And she actually referred me one of my best clients. So it's when you and it was ironically we had met. We had been involved in a couple of different projects and hadn't spoke to her in about 3 or 4 months. And she reached out to me and said, "Hey, by the way, I got a lead for you." And it turned out, like I said, to be one of my best clients.
That's awesome.
So you don't always know where the relationship is going to go. So another piece to remember that's super important is as you're making the connections, find a way. This is another lesson. Find a way to maintain the relationship. The big mistake that I made, you're familiar, and I've even told this story before, I know, on the show, but the 328 business cards that I generated. In a quarter. So 54 networking events, 328 business cards, and I could account for 28 of those conversations.
Wow.
Right. So it was like, what you would do with the other 290, or whatever the difference was, right? And the reality was it took me multiple months to finally sit down, take that information, put it into a CRM, follow up with those individuals, which, by the way, ended up equating and generating more sales, creating more clients. So, but missed opportunity because how much better could that have been if it hadn't been 4 or 5 months after?
Right.
followed
Yeah.
up.
Well, the iron was still hot.
Right.
So they're
Right.
trying to
Exactly.
reheat the iron.
Yeah. So, and as it relates to building your network, think about what are industry events you can do. You get the Rotary clubs, you have the networking groups like BNI. There's other local networking groups, I'm sure. You have the chambers. So all of those are opportunities to get your name out there, connect with people, and then build not only referral network, but also collaborations. Right? Like if you can get into speaking events, if you have somebody who's an accountant or a lawyer and they're engaged in something, you can speak at that event. It's a great opportunity as well.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, hey, before we go on to number 3, I do want to mention real quick, if somebody's watching this or interested in becoming a coach, that's what Eric is looking for right now. He's on a mission to get 100 coaches. So if you don't want to go through and do all of the stuff from scratch and you want a faster way to do it, definitely scan the QR code and just connect with Eric or somebody on his team. Just learn more, if it's a fit for you, learn more about what My Biz Coaches offers for business coaches, and save yourself a lot of the headaches that come with it. So just want to throw that out to Eric before we move on to number 3.
Absolutely. Appreciate that. And that would be number 4, David.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if that was a bonus number 3 or if that was like actual number 3. So moving on to 4. Yeah. Counting's
number
hard.
4.
It's not my strength. Words and people,
I got
Matt's
the
math. Matt's your thing.
So yeah, the next one's create valuable content. And when I started this project, when I started the coaching, when we started our project together with the Biz Coach Show, it wasn't a question of whether or not I had enough content for us to work off of, or ideas. And certainly you have a fair amount of content as well yourself. The question was aggregating it and dispelling it in an effective manner where people could actually get value from it. Right. Yeah. Depending on your experience level, depending on your knowledge, again, important why you stay in the niche that you're most comfortable with, and particularly in the beginning, because the more information you'll be able to share, the more value you create with the content you have. And in the beginning, you're going to share a lot of free information.
Yeah.
You're going to have a lot of conversations. You're like, I really wish I could have got paid for that.
Yep.
And I will openly admit that there are many times in the first year, probably the first 2 years, where I was just like, wow, that was a ton of information I just provided. I hope that actually pays out at some point.
Yeah, right.
I came to a new appreciation for lawyers and doctors from that perspective.
Yeah. Well,
I am certain
that free legal advice all the time.
I'm certain that lawyers and doctors go to events of any kind, and people are like, "Oh, so you're a doctor? I got this pain. Oh, right. You're a lawyer. I've got this issue."
Yeah.
Everybody wants some free information, but that I very much felt like that was a very common occurrence, and occasionally it was a little frustrating, quite honestly. But the over time, as I shared more and more free information, and then began to leverage my outlets, which is what I was going to get to in regards to where you post, where you put information.
Right.
Obviously, your website, you can do blogs. We all know that. But how creative can you get in getting your word out there, getting your messages out there? There's a ton of opportunities, a lot more than what we think about. And if you take the time to do it. And the best part is you could have one piece of content, and used effectively, you can distribute it in about a dozen different ways. So you could have one message, right? One concept or idea, and share that in a dozen different ways, which allows you to spread your content extensively.
Yeah.
So that's an important component to remember, because, as you put yourself out there as an authority and you help people understand your knowledge and depth of understanding of your category of business, the more that you're going to get people to engage with you. So, whether it's posting on social media, obviously doing the blog, we talked about creating a newsletter. You could have multiple newsletters, quite honestly, depending on your categories, right? You could have you can provide the same information in different platforms. Like, for instance, LinkedIn has a newsletter option. However, you want your own newsletter because you want to be able to pull people off of, we've talked about this before with different marketing people on this channel. You want to be able to pull people off of the LinkedIn and other social media platforms and get them into your own ecosystem. And that
Right.
newsletter is how you do it. Your own in-house newsletter is how you do that. So you may want 2 or 3 different newsletters. And then there, again, as you expand, you could expand in your newsletter space. There's also, speaking engagements and things like that, but every opportunity to be in front of a group of people creates an opportunity for you to share your content.
That's right.
Either
Yep.
verbally or written or video, whatever. But there's a ton of different ways to do that. Ebooks, another way, right? So easy to create an ebook now these days. It's not that difficult to throw something together and get it out there and make a good quality product. And you could even print the ebook. You don't even have to go through the ISBN process, but you can actually print the ebook. But if you think it's good enough, put your ISB on it and list it on Amazon, and then you got another outlet.
Yeah.
So
awesome.
There's tons and tons of opportunity to be able to get that information out there to provide your insight and advice. And it's a phenomenal lead resource, because the best part about all of your content is that once it's out there, whether it's printed or in social media, it's on a website, whatever, it's there.
Yeah.
Pretty much forever.
Right.
And the benefit of that is once it's out there, it's a referral source.
Yeah. Right.
Right. You can't determine, let's say, for instance, I had this book and I'm like, David, you should really read this book. It's really cool. You read the book, you read it, and then you're like, this is really good information. I wish I could talk to this guy, and there's his information. You contact him.
Yeah.
You didn't even buy the book, right? You got it from me because I lent it to you because I thought you might see value in it.
Yeah.
And you end up calling the person gets a lead. So it's the same thing on the internet, right? You don't know where it's going to go. So the more you can put out there, the more valuable it is. And that's a huge, huge component of that. And then I'll say this as kind of like a 4B.
See, you're getting me with these.
Yeah. I'll say this. Everything that you did in the first 4, and I'm going to steal this from Grant Cardone, the biggest reason why people fail in business is because nobody knows who they are.
Yeah, sure.
So if you're not clear on who you are and what you do, and you don't do a good job of building your brand, and you're not clear on the messaging and the things that you deliver, and you don't do a good job with your putting your content and getting your content out there, nobody will know who you are.
Right.
And the big miss there is you will struggle to maintain your business.
Yeah.
And that's why most coaches fail.
Yeah. Well said. Yeah, it was just a great point. I was going to circle back just on the putting content out. I think, you and I have lived this. In fact, if people go back and watch episode 1 versus this episode, right? Or, when we were first putting stuff out on social media, you get better the more you do it. But a lot of people just never take that first step. And so I think whether it's video or, putting my face on Instagram, or, how do I make a post, and that looks horrible, but I'm going to put it out there and the next one will be better. And after you do a few of them in these different formats, you start to figure out what works. You start to get more comfortable. You start to do it faster. So I would just say, if something you're not used to, you got to just start and then look for opportunities to grow, just like anything else.
Yeah, agreed. And another shameless plug. The reality is, if you're considering doing this is a great reason why you want to partner with My Biz Coaches, because we walk you by the hand through this process to help you understand why it's so important and all the key components that you want to incorporate so you can get the most value.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, man, bring us home. Number 5.
Okay. Number 5.
I mean, I don't know anymore.
Number 5, probably the most important of all of them. Offer exceptional services.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
Right? Kind of a foregone conclusion, right? It was like, at the end of the day, if you do a crappy job of delivering services, doesn't matter how good your marketing is, you eventually will. Right. Yeah. It's you need to go above and beyond, especially in the beginning. So you're starting from scratch. You don't probably have a ton of money to go out and spend to run up your marketing campaigns. You're going to do a lot of face-to-face. Like I said, you're going to have a lot of free conversations. Make sure they're quality conversations. Make sure it's good information. Give them the best of what you have. Here's a great tip I learned from Alex Hormozi, and it's real simple. Information is free, right? You give the information for free, you charge for implementation.
Yeah, there you go. Yep.
Right. So at the end of the day, anything that you're going to share, anything that we share, quite honestly, David, we actually joked about this before the show. It's out there, right? If you go look on social media, if you go look deep into into YouTube, which may take you some time depending on what you're specifically looking for, but it's out there.
Yeah.
Right. There's nobody has the corner and all the information. It's already out there. It's free.
Yeah.
The problem is it's not in an organized fashion where you can quickly identify what you want, how you want it, where you want it. That might change with ChatGPT, but the point is getting that information and then tailoring it towards you, towards your business, right? That's the key, right? So like I said before, be willing to give the free information, give the best information you have, because it's just information.
Yeah.
If you don't know this already, let me break your bubble. The reality is you could give people information all day long. Most people still won't take action on it.
I was going to say, Eric, this goes all the way back to our sales roots, right? How often would somebody ask you, man, how are you guys doing so well? How'd you flip that, division around or whatever, Eric? And you tell them, just, hey, I want to see everybody win. And you tell them exactly what you did, and they'd still suck because they can't execute as well as you do, right? I mean, you could give people the formula, but if they're unwilling to put in the work or they don't have the experience or whatever, the team even, they're going to struggle. So totally. Just it's funny as you say that. I'm thinking back to our joint time together in different businesses and how often we've done that, and they still struggle. So you're spot on.
Yeah, you can give all the answers in the world. At the end of the day, it's not the information that's going to change the situation.
Right.
It's the execution of that information, right? The effective execution of that information. And often somebody needs them to walk them through that process to help them implement those changes or whatever it might be that they're looking for, the result they're looking for. Ironically, I was literally watching a video from Neil deGrasse, the scientist. And it was funny because he was doing an episode on Einstein, and they were talking about how all of Einstein's theories have all been proven at this point, right? Like they can't disprove any of them or whatever. And the only thing that they proved that he was ever wrong on was the fact that at one time he called himself out and said he was wrong about something. And in retrospect, in 1996, they actually proved that it was still right. So even though he said he was wrong about it, so the only time he was ever wrong was when he was wrong about himself about you were wrong.
Yeah. Are you sure that wasn't me, Eric? I think that was me.
Yeah, exactly. I am certain that wasn't the case, but you are pretty good most of the time.
Likewise.
The joke is I'm looking at, he's got a bunch of Einstein's theories on there, and I'm looking at him going, you could give me that all day long, David. The reality is that other than maybe a couple of really popular ones, some of those other theories don't really resonate with me because I don't spend that much time studying it.
Yeah,
you could give me the exact theory, the exact equation. If I don't understand all the inputs in it, it won't help me.
Yeah,
it's the exact same thing. Say again.
Yeah. That's why you need a coach, right?
Yeah, it's the exact same thing with anything else, particularly in business, right? That you can give you the exact equation, but if you don't know the implementation, if you don't know the steps to go through and in the right sequence, right? If you do it in the wrong sequence, that could screw it all up, right? So the reality is it's not just it's like a recipe, right?
Yeah,
I can tell you everything that goes in the cake, but if you don't do it in the right order, you're not going to get the same result.
Right.
So again, you give the information for free, charge for the implementation.
Yeah, love it. It's a good 5 tips, man. Starting a coaching business from scratch. You've been there, you've done that, and now have My Biz Coaches, where you guys are doing a lot of great things. Anything that you want to spotlight for people that are interested in getting started in the coaching space?
Yeah, I think that I think it goes without saying. I said, the primary thing was make sure you offer phenomenal services. I think there's another piece to that. I don't know. I think like any career that you endeavor that you go into, I think there's a component of you have to truly want to do it. And, I think back again, I'll use the example that you referenced briefly, but our time together, in the wireless retail space.
Yeah.
a lot of people came to us, didn't have any intention of staying with us for a career, right? It was the stepping stone job. And the way that we recruited people in was showing them how they could, make X number of dollars and without a whole lot, without a college degree, you can still make $60,000, $80,000 a year. And that was enticing. Yeah. There was a lot of people that were very interested in that.
Yeah.
Right. But we had to find something that would bring those people in, despite the fact that it may or may not be exactly what they intended or they thought they wanted to do the rest of their lives. So we had to show the vision, where it would go, what it could do. As you go into an endeavor, a solo endeavor like coaching, you really have to be super passionate about it. And I would say that as I reflect on my 5-year doing this to this point, I've gained more and more respect for the average small business owner, for entrepreneurs. Right? And so the reality is I look at the scenario that most of these people are struggling through. I realize I have solutions for them that I can help them with, and I want to do it for everybody. And I think that I believe that shines through in my approach, my style, and how I've invested time and energy into learning everything I could possibly learn to be able to help people.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that makes sense. Yeah, you got to be passionate about it, right? That's almost like step 0, right? I guess maybe we take that for granted, but sometimes it's important to start with that and say, hey, you really got to be in it. You got to want it. You got to be in it for the long haul. So yeah, good to bring that point home.
Yeah, and I think that's it. To your point, if you start with that, and it comes from a place in your heart, then everything else will follow with that.
Well, great points today, Eric. If you are interested in learning more about becoming a coach, as we've discussed throughout the show, scan the QR code, book that call, and see if coaching is the right fit for you, whether that's with My Biz Coaches or not. And if you decide that My Biz Coaches is the right fit, Eric and his team would love to tell you more about what you get when you become a My Biz Coach coach. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next episode.